on a phone app called House Party. The teacher notified the Clay County District Schools police officer. That officer conducted a preliminary investigation and deemed this threat as potentially credible, and then notified the Clay County Sheriff's Office. Our Clay County Sheriff's Office deputy responded and coordinated with the officer at the school. The suspect was reported to have a Colt rifle in his hands during a chat and threatened to commit a shooting at Lake Asbury Junior High School. Upon being interviewed by our deputy, the suspect admitted to making the threat to the school and to having a rifle and ammunition that was displayed in the video with him. He said the firearm belonged to his grandfather and he had gotten it out of a safe at his grandfather's residence. It appears that the grandparents did not know about this, and he had learned the combination to the safe and was able to access the safe and retrieve the weapon. Our deputy responded to the grandparents' home where this child is living, and the grandparents, who are his guardians, were very cooperative. It's important to note that they have, at the very beginning, been working with the Sheriff's Office in regards to this issue. The grandparents inventoried the remaining items in the safe, and we confirmed that there were no other firearms missing, and they, on the spot there, changed the combination to the safe. The child, after consultation with the state attorney's office, the child was arrested and transported to the Duval Regional Juvenile Detention Center. I want to take this opportunity to thank the student that came forward with this information. You are brave, you are courageous, and you did the right thing. I also want to take an opportunity to thank the teacher who notified the officer at the school. You know, this is an important reminder as we get back into the school year to talk to your children about the importance of reporting suspicious activity to an adult. You know, before or during school, make sure you talk to an adult. This is also a reminder for parents and guardians to secure all firearms, even if they're in a safe. It's probably a good idea to change that combination every once in a while and keep those firearms safe. I want to personally thank the partnership that we have with the Clay County School District Police Department and the State Attorney's Office in the successful resolution of this incident without anybody being harmed. I'm asking at this point any other students who may have been on this chat app that day, if they would please notify an adult. And any adults out there, if you're notified about this, please contact the Clay County Sheriff's Office immediately so we can conduct further investigation. I want to thank the, and I don't have the name of the school deputy that took the initial report, but I want to thank that school deputy and also our Clay County Sheriff's Deputy Tim Bell, who did a fantastic job investigating this. And I'd like to thank the Clay County District Schools Police Department in general for their cooperation and coordination in this investigation. We appreciate that partnership, as well as the partnerships of all of our local police departments. And I just want the citizens of Clay County to know that we are here working together to keep our kids safe. So I'm going to turn it over at this time to Superintendent Broski.
This is a good example of what went right with the cooperative atmosphere that we have with Clay County Sheriff's Office and all of our local PDs. And again, thanks, Chief, of our own school police department. Here, several things went right. One, a student came forward bravely to announce to an adult what had happened. The teacher then did the right thing in reporting it to the deputy on campus, who then contacted Clay County Sheriff's Office. There's a couple of reminders that I put forward. One, the Clay County District Schools does not tolerate this behavior. The student will be disciplined in accordance with the Student Code of Conduct to the fullest extent possible. Two, I would put a reminder out to parents, talk to your children about thinking before they post. So many times we have students that say things and do things before thinking and press send. This is a good reminder to not do that. I just want to thank the Sheriff's Office and the Sheriff for the collaboration on this particular issue. It's a shame that we start off the school year this way with so many other events with starting a school year coming forward, but I thank you so much for the cooperation of all of our law enforcement partners in Clay County. Thank you.
All right, well, we'll take a couple of questions, if anybody.
Scott Johnson with Channel 4. Do we have any idea the time frame here if this student was intent on making good on this threat? Was he arrested, and I'm assuming it was a male, days before or hours before? Do we have any idea what, if he had plans to do this?
No, sir, not to my knowledge do we have a time frame on his threat other than he was going to.
Sheriff, is there any indication on the motive? And then can you tell us about this app, House Party, what it's used for, how popular it is among students?
Don't know the motive. At this point, that's still being investigated. We're still looking at that. I am not familiar with the House Party app. In fact, you're younger than I am. You could probably speak to it better than I could. But we do have detectives that are looking into that. You know, and again, it's a reminder to parents, these platforms that these kids get on, you know, whether, you know, it's TikTok or House Party or whatever, those are constantly evolving. So please continue to check your child's social media pages.
Dawn White with First Coast News. When exactly were you made aware of the threat, and how common are you seeing technology like this used with threats with younger people?
So the first part of the question was what?
When you became aware of the threat?
So we became aware of the threat yesterday afternoon, and Detective Bell stayed, in fact, he worked late to follow this through until its ending with the arrest of the male.
And how common do you see this kind of technology used with young people making threats?
You know, I think, well, obviously this is the first time this school year that we've had technology used to make a threat. You know, technology is what kids use to communicate. And, you know, unfortunately, we're probably going to see this again. And that's why it's so important for adults to pay attention to what kids are doing on social media.
This highlights a big issue that came up in the last couple of years, sheriff's office versus school board police. Who should monitor the schools? Do you feel that should Clay County parents be happy now that it seems like all parties are working together? Can you talk to us about that issue? Because that's kind of critical in this case.
Sure, Scott, I mean, there is no issue. I don't know, you know, I wasn't privy to what was here before, but I can tell you as of today, there is no issue. We are working in cooperation and collaboration with our partners in the county, in law enforcement, and you know, I think the parents and the citizens in general should feel at ease that we have a good working relationship, and we are all committed to keeping our residents safe.
And if this hadn't been caught by a student early, can you tell us, are there plans in place for the various agencies like the school board, police, and the sheriff's office to handle if this student had gotten to campus?
Absolutely. The school board, and I'll let Chief Wagner or Superintendent Broski, you know, speak to specific plans. But I will tell you, all of these police leaders that are standing here with me today, I've actually trained with them and worked with them over the years on, you know, a response to active shooter incidents. So I would say that we are prepared, and we will continue to train together and continue to prepare together.
And do you think the student was alone, or was there anyone else involved?
At this time, we believe this is a isolated incident with one student. However, with that being said, that's why I'm appealing to anybody else, any other kids who may have been on that chat that day, to please come forward with any additional information.
And the superintendent had mentioned that he think before you send something on social media. Do we suspect at all that this was more bluster online, or was he intent on carrying out this act?
You know, I think that's still part of the investigation at this point, but it rose to the level that a young lady felt the need to report it to a teacher, who then felt a need to report it to police. And so, you know, there was enough credibility there that we're up here today having this press conference.
Can
So,
you clarify it was a boy?
yes, sir, it was a boy, a young man, 13 years of age.
Was the student ever, once you heard of the threat, the student ever get back to campus?
I'm going to let these guys speak to that.
The student was contacted immediately upon learning of this incident. The student was contacted and removed from the educational environment, and while the investigation ensued both on campus as well as off campus, because this incident stemmed from an off-campus incident that bled over into the school.
Can you say what that incident?
Excuse me?
The off-campus incident that
This was an off-campus incident that occurred. I don't recall the actual time, but it was on the House Party app off campus that bled over into the school. So that's the reason why the two different law enforcement agencies came together and work in this collaboratively.
Clarify the incident. You say an off-campus incident.
the threats to shoot the school.
And do you know anything about the weaponry that he had access to? You said it was a shotgun. Is this?
I don't specifically know which type of weapon it was, but it was a rifle.
But it was something that could have feasibly done a lot of damage. It wasn't a 1 or 2 round type thing.
I don't know what type of rifle it was. I don't know if it was a single shot rifle, or I just know it was a rifle. And I just wanted to make sure that on the district's part, as part of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act, there's a mental health aspect that's required under Florida law. It requires that a threat assessment team come together and look at the mental health aspects of this incident. So this is something that's going to continuing on, in that this student will receive additional services, whether it be through Clay Behavioral or any other mental health resource that is available to the student. So this will be a continuing follow-up with this student, because we don't know exactly what his true motives are at this time, other than we have the initial incident. So most definitely this student will be looked at for his mental health well-being.
Superintendent Borowski, could you say anything what happens to this student in the future? Is he removed from class no matter what?
Yeah. The student's been suspended from school, will not return to the school to the conclusion of the whole process, which would include discipline up to and including expulsion from the school system. So we need to let this play out, do the threat assessment part to evaluate the student and whether additional mental health is needed. But the school system's not going to tolerate this kind of behavior on any Clay County campus.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time that we're going to have for questions tonight. I appreciate you coming out.